Welcome to the Lore Lodge. Tonight we're returning to the green and winding paths of Hyrule and the world of the Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Get comfortable. Settle back into the pillows. Let your shoulders drop and your breathing slow. The fire is warm. The stories are waiting. Picture this. You are curled up on a bed of straw and soft blankets inside a hollowed-out tree. The air smells of damp earth, moss, and old wood. Morning sunlight, a pale, gentle green, filters down through a canopy of leaves, so thick it feels like living underwater. It paints shifting patterns on the wooden floorboards at the foot of your bed. Outside, you can hear the faint, happy chatter of children playing, their voices carried on a soft breeze that rustles the leaves of the entire village. It is a sound you know well, the sound of home, but it is also the sound of a world to which you do not quite belong. Every child out there, every Kokiri, has a companion, a tiny, sparkling fairy, a personal guardian spirit gifted to them by the great protector of the forest. Everyone, that is, except you. You are the boy without a fairy. And for as long as you can remember, that small, simple fact has defined your entire world. The Kokiri forest is a strange and wonderful place. It is a land of eternal childhood. No one here grows up. No one grows old. The Kokiri remain children forever, watched over by the benevolent spirit of the woods, the great Deku tree. He is less a tree, and more a living mountain of bark and leaf, his ancient face a familiar landmark on the horizon of your small village. He is the heart and soul of this place, and his magic keeps the forest safe. It keeps it unchanging. Your home, like all the others, is carved high into the trunk of a colossal tree. A simple rope ladder is your front door. Looking out from your window, you can see the whole village laid out beneath you. A collection of little tree huts connected by swaying rope bridges and winding wooden walkways. Below, a small river, clear as glass, chatters over smooth gray stones. Everything is green. 1,000 shades of it, from the dark, deep emerald of the moss to the bright, zesty lime of new leaves in the sun. The air itself feels alive. It carries the scent of pine needles and morning dew. You can feel the gentle thrum of life all around you, the quiet magic that keeps this place suspended in time. It's a peaceful existence, a safe one. For everyone else, it is a perfect paradise. But for you, there has always been a quiet, nagging question, a feeling of waiting for something that has not yet arrived. You know every Kokiri by name. There is Fado, who is always losing her way. There is the know-it-all who stands by the shop, ready to offer unsolicited advice. And then there is Mido. Mido, the self-proclaimed boss of the Kokiri. He is loud, arrogant, and has made it his personal mission to remind you, at every opportunity, of your fairy-less status. To him, it is a mark of your otherness, proof that you are not a real Kokiri. His words, though they are only the taunts of a child, carry a weight that settles deep in your chest. His insults are not particularly creative. They never are with bullies. But they are effective. They isolate you. They make you feel the space where a fairy ought to be, a tiny, aching void. You watch the other children play, their fairy companions zipping around their heads like tiny, personal stars, leaving trails of glittering dust in the air. You see them whispering secrets to each other, their best friend and confidant always at their shoulder. And you feel a pang of longing so sharp it almost takes your breath away. You spend much of your time exploring the quieter corners of the forest, away from the others. You have found a small hidden clearing where you can practice with a wooden sword. You have learned the winding, confusing paths that lead into the lost woods, though you never dare to venture too far. The woods have a reputation. They say that any who wander too deep are lost forever, turned into strange, twisted creatures of the forest. The gentle, happy music of the village fades there, replaced by an eerie, haunting melody that seems to beckon you deeper into the mists. It is in these quiet moments, alone, that you dream. You dream of a world beyond the trees. You have heard whispers, stories told by the Deku tree himself, of a vast land called Hyrule, a place with open fields, towering mountains, and a great white castle where a king and a princess live. To the other Kokiri, it is just a story, a fairy tale. Why would anyone want to leave the safety of the forest? But to you, the idea of Hyrule is a promise. A whisper of a different life, a different you. A place where not having a fairy might not be the most important thing about you. Tonight, however, your dreams are troubled. You are not dreaming of Hyrule. You are caught in a nightmare. In the dream, you are standing in a field before a vast castle. A storm rages. Lightning splits the sky, illuminating a drawbridge that lowers with a groaning creak. A white horse gallops out, carrying two figures. A woman with a kind face, and a young girl with eyes that seem to hold a deep sadness. They look at you as they pass, a silent, urgent plea in their gaze. Then, from the castle, a shadow emerges. A man on a great black stallion. He is cloaked in darkness, and his eyes, when they lock onto yours, burn with a terrifying fire. You feel a cold dread that has nothing to do with the storm's chill. It is a feeling of pure, absolute evil, a power so immense it feels like it could swallow the world whole. The man raises a hand, and you feel a force slam into you, a pain that is both physical and spiritual. And then you wake up. You sit bolt upright in your bed, panting, your heart hammering against your ribs. The green, peaceful light of the Kokiri morning fills your room, but the terror of the dream clings to you like a shroud. And then, something happens that has never happened before. A light appears in your room. It is small at first, a tiny pinprick of brilliant blue, hovering in the air. It zips back and forth, erratic and energetic, before it speaks. Its voice is high and tinkling, like a tiny bell. "Link," it says. "The great Deku Tree. He wants to speak with you. I am Navi the fairy. The great Deku Tree sent me to be your partner from now on." The little ball of light flies in excited circles around your head. You just stare. For a moment, you think you are still dreaming. This tiny, impossibly bright creature. A fairy. Your fairy. Her name is Navi. The words echo in your mind. Your partner. From now on, the empty space you have felt your whole life is suddenly, miraculously filled. A wave of relief, of joy, of sheer disbelief washes over you. You are no longer the boy without a fairy. You are Link, and you have a partner named Navi. The feeling is so overwhelming you almost forget the urgency of her message. The great Deku Tree wants to see you. The guardian of the forest, who so rarely speaks to anyone directly, has summoned you. A shiver of apprehension runs down your spine, chasing away the warmth of your newfound joy. This is a great honor. But it is also deeply strange. Why you? Why now? You climb down the ladder from your hut, Navi zipping excitedly around your head. The moment your feet touch the soft grass, the world feels different. The light seems brighter, the colors more vivid. The other Kokiri stop and stare. Their mouths hang open. Mido, who is conveniently standing guard near your house, is the first to speak. His usual sneer is replaced by a look of utter astonishment. "What's with that fairy?" he stammers. For the first time, you have an answer for him. Or rather, Navi does. She flies right up to his face, glowing with indignation. "The great Deku Tree summoned him," she chimes. The effect is immediate. Mido takes a step back, his bravado vanishing completely. The summon of the great Deku Tree is not something to be taken lightly. He looks at you with a new, grudging respect, but his jealousy is a palpable thing. He still finds a way to stand in your way. He tells you that you cannot pass unless you have a sword and a shield. It is a petty, childish rule, but it is the last shred of power he has over you, and he clings to it. It feels like a silly little game, a final schoolyard test before the real one begins, but you know you must play along. Finding the items is a sort of treasure hunt around the village you know so well. You crawl through a small tunnel you have known since you were small, and find a chest containing the Kokiri sword. It is small, light, perfectly balanced for a child's hand. But the steel is real. It feels cold and heavy and serious. This is not a toy. You find the Deku shield in the village shop. It costs 40 rupees, a small fortune you have to gather by exploring the forest floor and cutting through tall grass. The shield is made of wood, intricately carved. It smells of sap and polish. Holding the sword in one hand and the shield in the other, you feel different, taller, more capable. It is the uniform of an adventurer, and it fits you surprisingly well. Mido, true to his word but clearly unhappy about it, lets you pass. The path to the great Deku Tree's meadow is one you have walked 1,000 times, but today it feels sacred. The light filtering through the canopy seems to form a pathway just for you. Navi flits ahead, a guiding star, her presence a constant, comforting reassurance. You can feel the eyes of the other Kokiri on your back. You are no longer just Link the outcast. You are Link the chosen, the boy summoned by the forest's heart. As you enter the meadow, you are struck once again by his sheer scale. The great Deku Tree is colossal. His trunk is wider than your entire house. His branches reach up and scrape the sky, each one as thick as an ancient oak. His face, carved into the bark, is weathered and kind. Deep lines are etched around his closed eyes, and a thick mustache of moss hangs over his mouth. He is a being of immense age and wisdom. You feel impossibly small in his presence, a tiny speck of life at the foot of a living monument. He seems to sense your arrival. With a deep, groaning sound like the shifting of continents, his eyes slowly open. They are ancient, yellow orbs, filled with a gentle, weary light. His voice, when it comes, is not just a sound. You feel it in your bones, a deep, resonant vibration that echoes through the very earth beneath your feet. "Oh, Navi, thou hast returned," he rumbles. "Thank you, Link, for coming. I have been waiting for thee." He tells you of the nightmare you had. He confirms it was not just a dream, but a vision. A premonition of a great evil that is descending upon the land of Hyrule. He speaks of a wicked man from the desert who cast a terrible curse upon him. A curse that is slowly draining his life away. He asks you, a child, to be the one to break it. He asks you to venture into the darkness that has taken root within him, to face the evil and destroy it. He speaks with a calm, sad finality. He knows his time is short. He is placing the fate of the forest, and perhaps the world, into your small hands. You look down at the wooden shield and the little sword. They seemed so impressive just moments ago. Now they feel like children's toys against the scale of the task ahead. Fear, cold and sharp, pricks at you. But you also feel a surge of resolve. This ancient, kind being, the guardian of your home, has asked for your help. He has chosen you. You cannot refuse. With a nod, you accept. The great Deku Tree's mouth opens, forming a dark, gaping doorway into his very being. "Then enter, brave Link," his voice echoes, "and venture into my heart. The fate of the forest depends on thy courage." Navi gives a little chime of encouragement, and with a deep breath you step out of the warm sunlight and into the shadows. The air inside is immediately different. It is thick, heavy, and smells of decay and damp soil. The light from the entrance quickly fades, plunging you into a gloomy twilight. The walls are not smooth but ridged and textured like the inside of a living thing, which of course they are. You are inside the body of a dying god. The ground beneath your feet is soft and spongy. The only sounds are the drip of water from somewhere above and the scuttling of unseen things in the darkness. It is a dungeon, a place of puzzles and monsters, but it feels more like a sacred tomb. You have to climb vines that cling to the walls, each one feeling like a vein or a sinew. You push great blocks of wood that feel like fragments of the tree's own heartwood, and you encounter the creatures of the curse. Deku Babas, twisted, carnivorous plants, snap at you from the ground, their heads like monstrous purple cabbages. You raise your shield, deflecting their lunges. You swing your sword. The impact is jarring. The creature shrieks and withers away. It is the first time you have taken a life. The feeling is strange, not triumphant, but necessary. A grim task that must be done. Navi is your guide in the darkness. Her light is a small beacon of hope. She points out weaknesses in your enemies, hidden switches on the walls. She is your constant companion, her tinkling voice cutting through the oppressive silence. "Hey, listen," she will say, drawing your attention to a rusted old chest or a wall that looks like it can be climbed. Without her, you would be truly lost. The partnership is brand new, but it already feels essential, like you have been waiting for her your whole life. You find a slingshot. It is a simple child's weapon, but here it is a vital tool. You use it to hit switches high above, to drop ladders that grant you access to new areas. The satisfying thwack of a Deku seed hitting its target echoes in the cavernous space. Each puzzle you solve, each monster you defeat, takes you deeper into the Deku tree, deeper into the heart of his sickness. You can feel the curse growing stronger. The air gets thicker, the shadows deeper. You find yourself in a large circular room. The floor is covered in a thick, sticky web. In the center, a hole leads down into absolute blackness. You know with a certainty that chills you to the bone that the source of the curse lies below. You take a torch, a simple stick lit from a nearby sconce, and set the web alight. It burns away with a sickening hiss, revealing the path down. Taking a deep breath, you leap into the abyss. You land in a pool of water, the shock of the cold taking your breath away. You pull yourself out, shivering, into another large chamber. The air here is foul. The walls pulse with a faint, sickly purple light. And then you see it. On the ceiling above, a creature of nightmare hangs. It is a parasitic armored arachnid, Queen Goma. It is huge, far bigger than you are, its body a mass of chitinous plates and spindly legs. But its most terrifying feature is its eye. One single, enormous red eye, staring down at you with cold, ancient malice. This is the heart of the curse, the monster that is killing the great Deku tree from within. The eye swivels, and it fixes on you. With a horrifying shriek, the creature drops from the ceiling, landing with a heavy thud that shakes the room. It scuttles towards you, its legs clicking on the stone floor. Your heart is pounding, your hands are slick with sweat. This is not a Deku Baba. This is a true monster. Navy shouts a warning, telling you to stun it when its eye turns red. A moment of vulnerability. The queen rears up, her eye glowing with a malevolent light. You raise your slingshot, your hands trembling. You take aim, you fire. The Deku seed hits the eye dead center. The beast lets out a pained roar and collapses, stunned. This is your chance. You run forward, your small legs pumping as fast as they can go. You leap into the air and bring your sword down with all your might, again and again, hacking at the monstrous eye. The creature thrashes, throwing you off. It scurries back to the ceiling, regenerating. The fight is a desperate rhythm. Stun, attack, retreat, repeat. It feels like an eternity. Your arms ache, your lungs burn. But you do not stop. You are fighting for your home, for the kind, ancient being that has always watched over you. Finally, with one last desperate sword strike, it is over. The queen lets out a final, soul-shattering screech. Her body begins to dissolve, breaking down into black smoke and purple light. The energy of the curse dissipates, melting away like a bad dream. The room is suddenly quiet. The sickly purple glow is gone. You stand there panting, leaning on your sword. You have done it. You have defeated the monster. You have broken the curse. A pillar of blue light appears in the center of the room. It is a portal, a way out. You step into it, and in a dizzying rush of light and sound, you are transported back outside to the meadow. You emerge into the sunlight, blinking. The air is fresh and clean. The birds are singing, but something is wrong. The great Deku tree looks weaker. His leaves are brown and curling. His voice, when he speaks, is a faint, tired whisper. He thanks you. He tells you that you have shown true courage, but he also tells you that it was too late. The curse was too strong. His life is fading. He knew this would happen. His final task was to test your spirit, to see if you were the one foretold in the prophecies of Hyrule. And you are. He tells you the story of the creation of the world, of the three golden goddesses, Din, Nehru, and Faror, who created the land, the law, and the life. And when they departed, they left behind a sacred relic, the Triforce. A golden triangle with the power to grant the wish of whoever touches it. He explains that the Triforce lies in a hidden sacred realm, and the key to that realm is protected in the Temple of Time. To open the door, 3 spiritual stones are needed, and one of them, the Kokiri's emerald, he now gives to you. A green gem, glowing with a soft inner light, materializes before you. It is cool and smooth to the touch. It feels ancient, pulsing with a quiet, powerful magic. He tells you to seek out the Princess of Hyrule, Princess Zelda. She is the key to stopping the wicked man from your dream, Ganondorf, the desert thief who seeks the Triforce for his own evil ends. His voice grows fainter with every word. He tells you that he is proud of you, that you are no longer a mere Kokiri, but a child of destiny. With a final deep sigh, his ancient eyes close. A great shudder runs through his massive frame. The leaves on his branches all fall at once, showering the meadow in a cascade of brown and gold. The great Deku Tree, the guardian spirit of your home for countless centuries, is dead. You stand there, in the sudden, shocking silence. The Kokiri's emerald clutched in your hand. The weight of his words, the weight of the gem, the weight of the world, all seems to settle on your small shoulders. You have saved the forest from a curse, only to lose its heart. You have found your place, only to be told you must leave it. You have been given a destiny, and it is a terrifying one. You walk back towards the village. The other Kokiri can feel the change. The air is different. The magic of the forest feels diminished. They look at you, not with jealousy now, but with awe and a little fear. Mido runs up to you. His face is pale. He apologizes. He says he knew something was wrong with the great Deku Tree, and he is sorry for how he treated you. It is a small human moment in the face of a great mythological tragedy. You nod, accepting his apology. There is no time for petty rivalries anymore. One of your oldest friends, a girl named Saria, is waiting for you at the bridge that leads out of the forest. She is the only one who does not seem surprised by what has happened. She has always seemed wiser than the others. She looks at you with sad, knowing eyes. She says she always knew you would have to leave one day. She is not like the others. She understands. As a farewell gift, she gives you a small blue ocarina. It is a simple instrument, but she tells you to keep it, to remember her by. Its smooth ceramic surface is cool against your fingers. You stand at the edge of the forest, at the mouth of the tunnel that leads out into the wider world. You can see it on the other side, a vast green plain under a huge open sky. Hyrule Field. It is bigger than you ever imagined. For the first time, you will feel the full, unfiltered warmth of the sun on your face. You will feel a wind that has not been slowed by a billion leaves. It is the beginning of everything. The first step on a road that will lead you to castles, to dungeons, to mountains of fire and lakes of ice. A road that will lead you through time itself. You take one last look back at the Kokiri forest. Your home, a land of eternal childhood. But you are not a child anymore. Not really. You have faced a monster. You have witnessed the death of a god. You have been given a sacred trust. You turn your back on the only home you have ever known, and with Navi by your side, and a heavy emerald in your pocket, you step out into the sun. The adventure has begun. This feeling of being apart from them is sharpest at night, when the twin fairies of the know-it-all brothers buzz and gossip in their window, or when Fado's companion casts a soft green glow against her wall. You feel the silence in your own home most keenly. It is a quiet that has become a part of you, a space inside you that you have learned to furnish with daydreams and the melodies Saria teaches you. You trace the grain of the wood on your bed frame with a fingertip. The treehouse is a part of the forest, a living structure that breathes with the woods. At night, you can almost feel the slow, ancient pulse of the great Deku Tree through the roots and branches that make up your home. It is a steady, reassuring rhythm. a heartbeat for the entire forest. And in your quietest moments, you imagine your own heart is learning to beat in time with it. The other Kokiri dream of simple things, of games of hide and seek, of finding the shiniest new rupee, of Mido finally admitting they are clever. Your dreams are different. You dream of a vast open field under a sky bigger than any you have ever seen. You dream of a white castle, its banners snapping in a wind that carries the scent of strange flowers. You dream of a woman's gentle voice, humming a lullaby you feel you have known forever. And you dream of a man with a dark gaze, astride a great black horse, a man who radiates a coldness that seeps into the very marrow of your bones. You wake from these dreams, not with a scream, but with a profound sense of dislocation. Your small bed, the familiar green walls of your home, they feel temporary. Like a costume you are wearing for a play that is about to end. You do not tell anyone about these visions. How could you explain a field to someone who has only ever known the forest? How could you describe a castle to a child who believes the Deku Tree is the largest thing in the whole world? Sometimes, to escape the dreams and the quiet, you walk to the edge of the lost woods. The other Kokiri fear it. They say the music is a trick, that the shifting fog will steal your memories and turn you into one of the lost souls who wander there forever. But you are not afraid. To you, the music feels like a half-remembered song from your own heart. Saria often finds you there, sitting on the mossy stump just before the entrance. She never scolds you. She simply sits beside you. And for a while, you both listen to the ethereal melody drifting out from between the ancient trees. It is Saria who gave you your ocarina, a small, simple instrument carved from forest wood. She taught you how to make your breath into music, how to play the songs that the forest itself seems to sing. Her own song, the one she plays most often, is a tune of deep friendship and gentle melancholy. It speaks of a bond that doesn't need words. When she plays it, you feel understood. The loneliness inside you eases, replaced by a warmth that has nothing to do with sunlight. You learn the song yourself, and when you play it back to her, you are saying everything you cannot put into words. You are telling her that you see her, and that you are grateful. The great Deku Tree knows of your dreams. It has felt the tremors of your nightmares. The ancient guardian of the forest is aware of the darkness gathering on the horizon, a shadow that is stretching its fingers towards the peaceful sanctuary of your home. The curse that is beginning to take root within its heart is a symptom of this larger illness, and the tree knows, with the wisdom of centuries, that the cure lies not with the children of the forest, but with the boy who does not belong. Your lack of a fairy was never an oversight. It was a protection. A fairy is a conduit to the magic of the forest, a bond that ties a Kokiri to the woods forever. Had you been given one at birth, its magic would have woven you into the fabric of this place, stunting your growth, anchoring your spirit to the timeless childhood of the Kokiri. You would have remained a boy forever. But your destiny requires you to grow, to change, to become a man. And so the great Deku Tree waited. It watched you. It felt your quiet strength, your innate courage, the Hylian spirit that refused to be extinguished by your strange circumstances. It waited for the precise moment when the need was greatest, when the threads of fate were aligning, a time when a hero would be needed. That time is now. As you lie in your bed one night, the air in the forest feels different. It is heavy with unspoken words, thick with an ancient sorrow. The nightmare comes again, stronger this time. The dark man on the black horse, a drawbridge falling, a desperate escape. You toss and turn, caught in the throes of a vision that is more than a dream. It is a memory, or a prophecy. And in the heart of the forest, the great Deku Tree makes its call. It summons a fairy, not a companion, but a messenger. A small, brilliant ball of blue light, buzzing with nervous energy and a deep sense of purpose. Her name is Navi, and her mission is simple. Find the boy without a fairy. You feel a presence before you see it, a warmth and a light that cuts through the lingering shadows of your nightmare. A voice, clear as a tiny bell, calls out your name, not with the familiar cadence of Saria or the mocking tone of Mido, but with an urgency that makes your heart beat faster. Link. Come on, Link, wake up. The great Deku Tree wants to talk to you. You open your eyes, and for the first time in your life, you are not alone in your room. A fairy of your very own hovers before you, glowing with a light that seems to push back all the loneliness, all the quiet, all the years of feeling different. The fable is over. The long, silent chapter of the boy without a fairy has come to a gentle close. A new story is waiting, and it begins now. Picture yourself now walking away from the deep woods. The childish laughter of the forest folk fades behind you, and the air changes. It becomes cleaner, crisper, and full of possibility. You are standing on a wide open plain, a sea of green grass that stretches to the horizon under a vast blue sky. In the very center of this landscape, like the heart of the world itself, stands a city. Hyrule Castle Town. From this distance, it is a beautiful miniature. A collection of rooftops and towers, all clustered around the magnificent spires of the castle. A single road, a ribbon of pale earth, cuts a path through the field leading you towards it. You can feel the soft give of the soil under your boots and the gentle caress of a breeze on your face. It carries with it the faintest sounds of life, the distant nickering of a horse, the chime of a far-off bell. It is the sound of a kingdom at peace, a kingdom in its golden hour. As you draw closer, the details resolve. The city walls are made of a pale, almost white stone that seems to glow in the sunlight. They look strong and dependable, built to last for 1,000 years. The drawbridge is down a welcoming arm extended over a sparkling moat. You can see guards posted at the gate, but they are not tense or watchful. They stand at ease, their armor gleaming, their expressions relaxed. They chat to merchants, passing in and out, their voices a low, friendly murmur. This is a place that does not know fear. Not yet. It is a world bathed in the warm light of a long and peaceful afternoon. An afternoon that feels as if it will never end. Stepping onto the drawbridge, you feel the timber vibrate slightly under your feet. The water in the moat below is so clear you can see small fish darting among the reeds. The air shifts again, now carrying new scents. The smell of baking bread from a nearby shop, the sweet aroma of hay from a stable, the faint metallic tang of a blacksmith's forge. It is a symphony of simple, ordinary life, and it is utterly enchanting. You pass under the portcullis and into the town square. It is bustling with people. Children chase each other around a central fountain, their laughter echoing off the cobblestones. Merchants call out their wares from colorful stalls. A woman in a blue dress sells milk in clay bottles, her voice a gentle song. A man with a large mustache offers masks for sale, each one painted with a strange and wonderful expression. There is so much to see, so much life. The buildings are a charming mix of timber frames and stone foundations, their windowsills overflowing with bright flowers. You feel a sense of profound safety here, a feeling of belonging. This is the heart of Hyrule, the center of its culture, its commerce and its power. It is a city that feels like home even if you have never been here before. It is a testament to what people can build when they are not afraid. Your path, however, leads you through the square towards the back of the city, where a smaller, more imposing gate stands. This is the way to the castle itself. The guards here are a little more formal. They stand straighter, their spears held at a precise angle. But still there is no menace in their posture. They nod to you as you approach, granting silent permission to proceed. You are expected after all. You walk up a long stone path that winds its way towards the castle proper. Green vines creep up the walls, and the air grows quieter, here removed from the hustle of the market. You can hear the gentle rustle of leaves in the trees that line the path and the soft cooing of doves. You are entering a different world now, a world of royalty, of history, and of secrets. The castle looms above you, its white towers seeming to pierce the very sky. The royal standard, a crimson bird above a triforce, flutters from the highest battlement. It is a symbol of a dynasty that has ruled for generations, a symbol of divine protection and earthly power. It is a promise of stability, a promise that tomorrow will be much like today, full of sun and peace and the gentle rhythms of a happy kingdom. But promises, as you know, can be fragile things. and golden afternoons must always eventually give way to dusk. You find yourself in a quiet courtyard, a garden tucked away within the castle walls. The chaos of the town feels a world away now, replaced by a profound and curated tranquility. The grass here is perfectly manicured, like a green velvet carpet. Intricate topiary lines, the walkways shaped into spirals and strange mythical beasts. The air is thick with the sweet perfume of flowers blooming in a riot of color. In the center of the garden, a small fountain plays its water, catching the sunlight and casting dancing rainbows on the stone path. It is a place of immense peace, a sanctuary. And it is here in this perfect garden that you see her. She is standing by a latticed window gazing out towards the distant mountains. She is just a child, dressed in the formal attire of a princess, her hair tied back neatly. From behind she looks small, almost lost in the grandeur of her surroundings. But when she turns, you see it. The weight in her eye. Princess Zelda is young, but her gaze holds a wisdom far beyond her years. It is a sad wisdom, the kind that comes from seeing things others cannot. She looks not at you, but through you for a moment, lost in a vision that only she can see. She speaks of a dream, a premonition. Dark clouds gathering over Hyrule, a desert man on a great horse, a boy from the forest holding a shining stone. Her voice is soft, but it carries a strange urgency, a deep-seated fear that chills the warm garden air. She trusts you instantly. Perhaps it is your connection to the forest, or perhaps she simply has no one else to turn to. She explains that her father, the king of Hyrule, dismisses her fears. He sees only the prosperous kingdom, the loyal subjects, the strong walls. He sees the golden afternoon and believes it will last forever. He sees a thriving alliance with the Gerudo people of the desert, led by their charismatic new king Ganondorf. He sees progress. He does not see the shadow lurking behind the man's smile. Zelda, however, sees it all too clearly. In her dreams, she has touched the future, and it is cold and broken. She feels the truth of it in her bones, a truth that the adults around her refuse to acknowledge. It is the terrible burden of the prophet, to see the coming storm while everyone else is still enjoying the sunshine. You can feel her quiet desperation, the frustration of being a child with an adult's knowledge trapped in a world that will not listen. She leads you to a quieter corner of the courtyard hidden from the view of the castle windows. Here the stone is old and covered in moss. It feels like a secret place. She speaks of legends, ancient stories passed down through the royal line, tales of a sacred realm, a golden land where the Triforce, the ultimate power, lies hidden. A power that can grant the wish of anyone who touches it, for good or for ill. Her voice drops to a whisper as she explains the danger. If someone with a pure heart touches the Triforce, the sacred realm will become a paradise. But if someone with an evil heart touches it, that golden land will be twisted into a realm of darkness, a world of monsters. And that darkness will spill out to consume Hyrule itself. It is a story that sounds like a fairy tale, but the fear in her eyes tells you it is terrifyingly real. She believes Ganondorf, the Gerudo king, seeks this power. He has sworn allegiance to her father, but she sees the ambition burning in his eyes. The hunger for conquest. He is playing a long game, a political game, and her father is being completely fooled. Zelda's plan is a child's plan, born of desperation and fairy tale logic. She believes that if you can gather the 3 spiritual stones, the keys to the sacred realm, and open the door before Ganondorf does, you can claim the Triforce for good and protect Hyrule from his evil intentions. She looks at you with pleading eyes. You, a boy from the forest, are the only one she can trust, the one she saw in her dreams. It is an impossible burden to place on your shoulders. Yet looking at this small, determined princess, you feel a strange sense of duty. You are both children, caught in a game far too old and dangerous for you. 2 small figures standing against a gathering darkness. As you stand there in the quiet garden, another figure emerges from the shadows. She moves with a silence that is almost unnerving. A tall woman clad in the distinctive garb of the Sheikah. This is Impa Zelda's nursemaid and guardian, but she is so much more than that. She is a warrior. You can see it in her posture, in the sharp intelligence of her crimson eyes. She is the last of her kind, or one of the very few. The shadow folk of Hyrule. To understand Impa, you must understand the Sheikah. They are a people defined by duty and shrouded in mystery. For generations, they have served as the protectors of the royal family. Not as soldiers in gleaming armor, but as spies, assassins, and guardians who operate from the shadows. Their symbol, the eye with a single teardrop, is a common sight in Hyrule on stones and in ancient places, but few know its true meaning. It is a symbol of watchfulness, the eye that sees all the secrets of the kingdom. But the tear is a symbol of sorrow, a lament for the bloody history they have endured, and the difficult choices they have had to make to protect the crown. The Sheikah have always done what was necessary, no matter the cost to their own souls. They are the silent partners in Hyrule's long peace, the unseen foundation upon which the Sunny Kingdom is built. Impa embodies this legacy. She is fiercely protective of Zelda, her loyalty absolute. She has taught the princess not just history and etiquette, the secret ways of the Sheikah. How to move unseen, how to listen to whispers on the wind, how to see the truth behind a courtier's smile. She has been preparing Zelda for a dark future her entire life, even as the king remained blissfully unaware. She trusts Zelda's premonitions completely, because the Sheikah have always been attuned to the unseen world, to the currents of magic and prophecy that flow beneath the surface of reality. She looks at you with a piercing gaze, a gaze that seems to peel back your skin and see everything you are. She does not smile. Impa is not a woman given to easy comforts. Her presence is one of immense strength and solemnity. She nods once, a silent acknowledgement of your role in this unfolding drama. She trusts the princess's judgment, and therefore she trusts you. For now. She speaks, and her voice is low and steady, a contrast to Zelda's youthful urgency. She warns you of the dangers ahead. She gives you practical advice. She is the anchor of realism in Zelda's world of prophecy and dreams. She knows that Ganondorf is more than just a threat. He is a cunning and ruthless opponent. She has been watching him for some time, studying his movements, his allies, his ambitions. While the king was hosting him at banquets, Impa was listening in the shadows. She speaks of Kakariko village nestled at the foot of Death Mountain. It was once the home of her people. Now it is a sleepy town open to all Hylians, but the old ghosts remain. The well that leads to the Shadow Temple, a place of dark history for the Sheikah, a place where the enemies of the kingdom were dealt with. It is a reminder of the price of peace, a price the modern Hylians have long forgotten. The Sheikah remember. They always remember. Impa is the living embodiment of that memory. She carries the weight of her entire tribe's history on her shoulders, a history of sacrifice and sorrow. Her devotion to Zelda is not just personal, it is ancestral. She is fulfilling an ancient oath sworn by her people to protect the bloodline of the goddess Hylia, which flows through the veins of the royal family. It is a sacred duty, one she would die for without a moment's hesitation. You can feel the immense bond between the princess and her guardian, a bond forged in secrets and shared fears. They are an island of two in a court of blissful ignorance, and now they have invited you to join them on that island. The weight of their trust is a heavy but comforting thing. It gives you a sense of purpose, a reason to face the dangers that lie beyond the castle walls. Impa teaches you a melody, Zelda's lullaby, a simple tune passed down through the royal family. She tells you it is a key, a way to prove your connection to them. The notes are simple, sweet, and tinged with a deep melancholy. It is the sound of the princess's own soul, a song of hope and sadness intertwined. As you play it for the first time on your ocarina, the notes hang in the still garden air, a fragile prayer against the coming night. With this new knowledge and this heavy purpose, you leave the castle. As you walk back through the sun-drenched town square, everything looks different. The laughter of the children now seems fragile. The bright colors of the market stalls seem a little too bright, a little too desperate. You see the kingdom not for what it is, but for what it stands to lose. You are now a keeper of its secret, a secret that separates you from all these happy, unsuspecting people. You carry the weight of Zelda's dream with you. It is a cold stone in your heart. a constant reminder of the shadow that is creeping towards this beautiful, peaceful world. The golden afternoon is ending, and you are one of the very few who can see the long, dark shadows of the evening begin to fall. Weeks turn into months. You journey across the length and breadth of Hyrule. You delve into the belly of a great tree, you climb a fiery mountain, and you explore the depths of a watery domain. With each spiritual stone you acquire, you feel a growing sense of hope mixed with a constant thrum of anxiety. You are doing it. You are fulfilling your promise to the princess. But with each success, you feel the world shifting around you. The sky seems a little grayer. The people you meet seem a little more on edge. There are whispers of unrest of strange creatures appearing in the fields at night. The king's soldiers are seen more often on the roads, their faces grim. Ganondorf's influence is growing. He is playing his public game of diplomacy, perfectly earning the king's trust, while his shadow army gathers in the desert. You return to Hyrule Castle, with the 3 stones clutched in your pouch. They feel warm to the touch, humming with a latent power. You expect to feel a sense of triumph, a sense of relief. Instead, a cold dread fills you as you approach the city. The sky above is not blue. It is a bruised purple-gray, a color of unnatural twilight. A storm is coming, a storm of Zelda's nightmares. The drawbridge is raised. The bustling market square you remember is gone. The streets are empty, doors are barred, windows are shuttered. A deathly silence hangs over the town, broken only by the mournful whistle of the wind. Something is terribly wrong. You find a secret way in through the moat, a hidden entrance known only to a few. The water is cold and murky, and it chills you to the bone. You emerge into a deserted side street. The silence here is even more profound. You creep towards the castle gate, your footsteps echoing unnervingly on the cobblestones. And then you see it. The moment from the dream, the prophecy made real. Princess Zelda is on a white horse riding hell for leather away from the castle. Her face is pale with terror and streaked with tears. Behind her rides Impa, her expression, a mask of grim determination, her red eyes fixed on the path ahead. They are fleeing for their lives, and as they gallop past you, their horses' hooves striking sparks from the stone, Zelda turns her head. Her eyes meet yours for a fleeting, desperate moment. In that single glance, you see everything. The fall of the kingdom, the betrayal, the failure of her plan. It is a look of utter despair. With her last ounce of strength, she throws something towards you. It arcs through the stormy air, a flash of dark blue and gold. It lands in the moat with a soft splash. The Ocarina of Time, her most precious treasure, her last hope. Then they are gone, swallowed by the gloom. A moment later, he appears. Ganondorf. He sits atop a magnificent black stallion, its eyes glowing with a malevolent red light. He is clad in black armor, his red hair like a mane of fire. Power radiates from him, a palpable aura of darkness and ambition. He does not see you at first. He scoffs at your youthful appearance when he does, dismissing you as nothing. A fly to be swatted. He unleashes a small taste of his power, a ball of crackling dark energy. It is not meant to kill you, merely to show you his contempt, to show you how utterly outmatched you are. And then he too is gone, riding off in pursuit of the fleeing princess, leaving you alone in the silent, empty street with the fate of the kingdom lying at the bottom of a murky moat. You retrieve the ocarina. It feels cool and smooth in your hand despite the chaos. It seems to hum with a sad energy. A song is imparted to you, not through sound, but through a strange telepathic connection. The Song of Time, a melody with the power to open the door to the sacred realm, Zelda's final gift, her final desperate plea. You make your way to the Temple of Time. It is a grand ancient structure that has always stood apart from the rest of the city, a place of quiet reverence. Inside it is cavernous and silent. Light streams in through a high stained glass window, illuminating a single altar at the far end of the hall. The Pedestal of Time. Upon it rests a legendary blade, the Master Sword, the sword that seals the darkness. You know what you must do. You stand before the altar and play the Song of Time. The notes echo in the vast chamber, filling the space with a mournful and ancient power. The air shimmers. The 3 spiritual stones rise from your pouch, floating in the air and taking their place on the altar. A great stone door behind the pedestal groans open, revealing a chamber bathed in a brilliant white light. The path is open. You step forward, your heart pounding. You place your hand on the hilt of the Master Sword. It feels warm, like a living thing. You pull it from the pedestal. The blade slides free with a sound like a pure, clear bell. For a moment you feel a surge of power, a feeling of heroic destiny. But it is short-lived. Because in opening the way to the sacred realm, you have also left the door unguarded. At that very moment, Ganondorf, who has been waiting for this opportunity, steps into the Temple of Time. He saw you enter. He followed you. He let you do all the hard work. A cruel, mocking laugh echoes through the chamber. He strides past you into the light of the sacred realm. You have not saved Hyrule. You have doomed it. The world around you fades. A great sage appears before you in a vision of light. Rauru, the Sage of Light. He explains the terrible truth. You were too young to be the hero of time, to wield the Master Sword. When you drew the blade, the sword itself sealed your spirit away in the sacred realm to keep you safe, to wait until you were old enough to fulfill your destiny. And while you slept, 7 years have passed. 7 years during which Ganondorf claimed the Triforce and twisted the sacred realm into his own dark image. 7 years during which his evil power has poured out into Hyrule, transforming the beautiful kingdom you knew into a land of monsters and despair. You were sealed away to save you, but in doing so, you left the world defenseless. The sleep is over. You awaken in the chamber you fell asleep in. But it is different now. It is dusty and covered in cobwebs. The brilliant light is gone, replaced by a somber gloom. You are no longer a boy. You are a young man. The green tunic you wear is the same, but it feels different on your taller, broader frame. You feel the weight of those 7 lost years. A childhood stolen. A kingdom ruined. As you step out of the Temple of Time, you are greeted by a figure waiting in the shadows. They are tall and slender, dressed in the tight-fitting blue garb of the Sheikah, their face obscured by a wrap, their hair short and fair. The only thing you can clearly see are their piercing red eyes. They move with a fluid grace, a quiet confidence. They introduce themselves as Sheik, a survivor of the Sheikah. They speak in riddles and poetic verses, telling you of the task that now lies before you, to awaken the other sages to gather the power needed to challenge the Demon King Ganondorf. Sheik is your guide in this new dark world, a mysterious ally who appears when you need them most, offering wisdom, a new melody, a path forward through the darkness. But who is this Sheik? Where did they come from? To understand, you must look back into those 7 years you slept away. They were not empty years for everyone. For Zelda and Impa, they were a desperate struggle for survival. After fleeing the castle, they went into hiding. 2 lone fugitives in a world that was rapidly falling apart under Ganondorf's rule. Impa knew they could not fight him directly. Not yet. The only hope was the prophecy. The return of the hero of time. But until then, Zelda was a target. As the bearer of the Triforce of Wisdom and the rightful ruler of Hyrule, she was a symbol of resistance that Ganondorf would stop at nothing to crush. She could not remain Princess Zelda. That identity was a death sentence. And so, under Impa's tutelage, a painful transformation began. Zelda had to let go of everything she was. The princess, the scholar, the dreamer. She had to bury it all deep inside. She trained relentlessly. Impa taught her the secret arts of the Sheikah, the techniques of stealth and misdirection, the martial arts, the use of throwing knives and other small concealable weapons, the way of the shadow warrior. Imagine the difficulty of this. A young woman raised in a palace surrounded by silks and servants, now learning to live in the wild, to sleep on hard ground, to forage for food, to fight for her life. She bound her chest, wrapped her face, and cut her long golden hair. She learned to lower her voice, to change her posture, to move like a man. to erase every trace of the princess she had once been. It was more than just a physical disguise. It was a psychological one. She had to suppress her own gentle nature, her compassion, her scholarly curiosity. She had to become someone else entirely. Shake a person, a few words of swift action and of impenetrable mystery. It was a sacrifice of her very self for the sake of her kingdom. A lonely and painful existence. For 7 years, Sheik watched and waited, moving through the blighted kingdom like a ghost, gathering information, helping those she could in small secret ways, avoiding Ganondorf's patrols and monsters, all the while keeping a close watch on the Temple of Time, waiting for the seal on your spirit to break, waiting for the hero to finally awaken. Her entire young adulthood was spent in this shadowy limbo sustained by a single fragile hope. So when you meet Sheik in the ruins of the Temple of Time, you are not meeting a stranger. You are meeting the princess you swore to help all those years ago. She is still fighting that same fight, just in a different form. She cannot reveal her identity to you. It is too dangerous. Ganondorf is hunting for Princess Zelda, not for a wandering Sheikah. Her disguise is her only protection. But more than that, she understands the nature of destiny. This is your trial now. You are the hero. She is the guide. She must maintain her distance to allow you to grow, to find your own courage. It must have been a profoundly difficult thing to do, to see you again after all this time, and not be able to embrace you as a friend, to be forced to maintain the mask, the distance, the mystery. Every time Sheik appears to teach you a new song, it is an act of incredible self-restraint. The melodies she teaches you are keys to reaching the temples where the sages are trapped. They are songs of teleportation that warp the very fabric of space. Where did she learn such powerful magic? From Impa, no doubt passed down through generations of Sheikah lore. Each song is a piece of her heart, a piece of her hope given to you to aid your quest. Think of the moment in the ice cavern, when she appears in the freezing cold, her breath misting in the air. She teaches you the serenade of water, a song as pure and cold as the ice around you. She speaks of your shared past, of how time can pass cruelly changing people. It is the closest she comes to revealing her true feelings, a moment of poignant reflection on all that has been lost, a lament for the childhoods you both were denied. Or the moment at the crater of Death Mountain. Surrounded by heat and fire, she teaches you the bolero of fire. She is calm and collected even in this inferno, a testament to the iron discipline she has cultivated over 7 years. She is the quiet center of the storm, the strategist who sees the whole board while you are just one piece moving from square to square. Her sacrifice is the silent story that runs beneath your own grand heroic adventure. While you are fighting monsters and solving puzzles, she is playing a deadly game of cat and mouse with the forces of evil. She is the intelligence network, the strategic command, the silent guardian angel of your quest. Her work is unseen, uncelebrated, but utterly essential. Without Sheik, you would be lost in the darkness. Zelda's journey is in many ways more tragic than yours. You lost 7 years to a magical sleep. She lived every single one of those 55 days. She witnessed the slow decay of her kingdom firsthand. She saw the familiar streets of her home turned into a haunted ruin filled with groaning zombies. She saw Lon Lon Ranch taken over by the cruel Ingo. She saw the Zora's domain frozen into a solid block of ice. She felt the pain of every one of these desecrations. Her transformation into Sheik was not just a practical necessity, it was a coping mechanism. A way to distance herself from the overwhelming grief of losing her father, her home, her entire world. By becoming Sheik, she could focus on the mission, on the cold, hard logic of resistance. She could become the weapon Hyrule needed her to be. And so the Princess of Prophecy became the shadow of a warrior, a ghost haunting the edges of her own ruined kingdom, waiting patiently for the boy from her dreams to grow into the hero of legend. Her faith in you never wavered even during the darkest days of those 7 long years. It was the one flickering candle that she protected against the howling winds of despair. A small, fragile light that would one day be enough to set the world ablaze with hope once more. She is not a damsel to be rescued. She is the quiet architect of salvation. and her greatest strength is her patience. The patience to wait in the shadows for the perfect moment for the hero to finally be ready to face his destiny. And her own. Picture yourself now, not in a forest, not in a castle. Instead, you are standing under a sky so vast and empty it feels like a physical weight. The sun is a merciless eye of white gold heat. Below your feet, the sand shifts with a soft whisper. It is a sound that has no end and no beginning. The sound of eternity itself. You are in the Gerudo desert. The air is not still. A hot wind blows constantly from the east, carrying with it the grit of ages. It sculpts the dunes into sleeping giants and carves strange shapes into the towering mesas of red rock that jut from the landscape like broken teeth. You can feel the fine sand sticking to your skin, a faint, warm abrasion. It smells of dust and sun-baked stone and something else, a faint trace of ozone, of distant, forgotten magic. This is a land of survivors, a place that does not suffer fools or weakness. Every living thing here, from the smallest insect to the hardiest desert flower, has fought for its existence. It is a land that breeds strength, resilience, and a deep, simmering resentment for the easier world beyond its borders. The green world, the wet world, the kingdom of Hyrule. Out here, life is sharp and well-defined. Survival is a simple, brutal equation, and it is into this crucible that a legend is born. Not of a hero in green, nor a princess of destiny, but of a king born of sand and shadow, destined to cast his influence across the entire world. Follow the wind. It will lead you towards the horizon, to a deep chasm carved into the earth. This is Gerudo Valley. The air grows cooler here, a welcome relief from the open desert. The sound of rushing water echoes up from the canyon floor, a constant, powerful roar that speaks of life and defiance in this arid land. A single, narrow bridge spans the gap. It looks impossibly fragile, swaying gently in the wind that funnels through the valley. On the other side, carved into the rock face itself, is the fortress, the home of the Gerudo. It is less a castle and more a declaration of strength. Its walls are the color of dried blood, blending seamlessly with the surrounding cliffs. Banners of deep crimson and gold snap in the wind, their symbols stark and unfamiliar. This is the home of a proud, isolated people, a warrior race composed almost entirely of women. They are renowned for their incredible combat skill, their unwavering loyalty to their own, and their deep suspicion of outsiders. They are born of the desert, and they carry its harsh beauty in their eyes. But they carry a prophecy too, a strange quirk of their bloodline, a law of their people as old as the sand itself. Once every 100 years, a single male child is born among them, and by their law, this child, and this child alone, is destined to become their king, their ruler. Imagine you are there, inside the fortress walls, on the day of his birth. The usual sounds of the fortress, the clang of training swords, the shouted commands, the rhythmic work songs are absent. There is a hush. A palpable sense of anticipation hangs in the hot, still air. The elders gather, their faces like maps of the desert itself, etched with lines of wisdom and worry. The news spreads not as a shout, but as a murmur, a ripple through the community. A boy has been born. The 100-year king has arrived. There is no great celebration. Not yet. There is instead a quiet, intense observation. The infant is brought out into the shaded courtyards. His skin is a deep olive, his hair a shock of fiery red, a stark contrast to the dark skin and brown hair of his people. His eyes, even in infancy, hold a burning intensity. They are the color of amber, of gold. They seem to miss nothing. His name is Ganondorf, a name that sounds like the grinding of stone, a name that will one day be whispered in fear across all of Hyrule. But for now, he is just a child, a promise, the physical embodiment of a century of waiting. To his people, he is a symbol of strength, a leader who will guide them, who will champion their cause. He is their hope for a better future. A future where the desert does not claim so much, where their strength is recognized and respected by the soft people of the green lands. But destiny is a complex thing. A hope for one people can be a terror for another. As you watch this infant king, held aloft for his people to see, you feel a subtle shift in the world. A shadow has fallen, so faint as to be almost imperceptible. A single thread in the great tapestry has been pulled, and the entire pattern has begun to change. The age of tranquility is slowly, quietly, beginning its end. Years pass, the boy becomes a man. The desert is his teacher, and its lessons are harsh. You see him now, not as a child, but as a king in his prime. He stands tall, a giant among his own people, his presence commanding. He wears the dark, practical garb of the Gerudo, but it is adorned with intricate gold jewelry that glints in the fierce sun. His red hair is tied back, and his amber eyes still hold that same burning fire, now tempered with cunning and a deep, unyielding ambition. His training was relentless. He mastered the sword, the spear, every form of combat his people practiced. But he was not merely a warrior. He was intelligent. He devoured every scroll in the fortress's small library, learning of history, of politics, of the world beyond the desert's edge. And he learned of magic, dark magic, the forbidden arts that whispered of power drawn not from the gods, but from the shadows themselves. You can imagine him in the deep vaults beneath the fortress, the air thick with the smell of old parchment and strange herbs. Torchlight flickers on walls covered in ancient symbols. His hands, strong and calloused from wielding a blade, move with surprising delicacy over the brittle pages of a forgotten tome. He learns to channel his will, his ambition, into tangible force. A crackle of dark energy at his fingertips, a shadow that deepens in the corner of the room when he commands it. He looks out from the highest tower of his fortress, over the endless sea of sand, and he sees not beauty, but a prison. He sees his people struggling for water, for resources, while just over the mountains lies a kingdom drowning in its own lushness. He sees the green fields of Hyrule, the sparkling waters of Zora's river, the opulence of the castle, and he feels a profound sense of injustice. A cold, hard anger settles in his heart. Why should his people, the strong, the disciplined, suffer in the sand, while the Hylians grow soft and complacent in their paradise? He believes the gods have been unkind, that the world is unbalanced. And he, Ganondorf, king of the Gerudo, believes it is his destiny to correct it, to take what his people deserve. So he plays a part. He travels to Hyrule Castle, not as a conqueror, but as a diplomat. Imagine the scene. You are in the throne room of Hyrule's king. The chamber is bright, airy, filled with light from vast stained glass windows depicting the kingdom's history. The colors are vibrant, blues, greens, golds. The Hylian court wears silks and velvets. Their laughter is light and easy. Then he enters Ganondorf, a figure of stark contrast. His dark Gerudo armor seems to drink the light from the room. His footsteps are silent, deliberate. He moves with the predatory grace of a desert cat. He kneels before the king of Hyrule, his head bowed in a perfect display of fealty. He speaks in a low, resonant voice, swearing his allegiance, offering the loyalty of his people. It is a masterful performance. The Hylian king, a good but naive man, sees a powerful ally. He sees a bridge being built between their two disparate peoples. He does not see the cold fire in Ganondorf's eyes. He does not feel the weight of the ambition that radiates from him like heat from the desert sand. He does not know that the man kneeling before him is not a servant, but a wolf studying the layout of the flock. During these visits, Ganondorf learns everything. He studies the castle's defenses. He observes the politics of the court. And most importantly, he learns the kingdom's deepest secrets. The legends, the myths that the Hylians hold as sacred truths. He hears the tale of the golden goddesses, Din, Nayru, Furor, who descended from the heavens and created the world from chaos. He learns of their parting gift, a sacred relic, an artifact of absolute power, capable of granting the wish of any mortal who touches it. 3 golden triangles, bound together as one. The Triforce. He learns that it rests not in this world, but in a holy land, a paradise known as the Sacred Realm. And he learns that the only key to that realm is hidden within the Temple of Time, protected by spiritual stones and a sacred song known only to the royal family. This is the moment everything crystallizes for him. His ambition, once a general desire for the betterment of his people, now has a singular focus: the Triforce. With it, he can do more than just conquer Hyrule. He can remake it. He can turn the arid desert into a lush garden. He can give his people the paradise they deserve. He can become not just a king, but a god. It is here we must pause and consider the nature of the relic he seeks. The Triforce is not a simple magical lamp that grants wishes. It is a mirror. It does not create desires, it reflects and amplifies what is already in the heart of the one who touches it. It requires a balance of 3 virtues to wield it whole: power, wisdom, and courage. A heart that does not hold these 3 forces in perfect equilibrium will be judged unworthy. The Triforce will shatter, and the wielder will be left with only the peace that they most embody. Ganondorf's heart is not balanced. It is a furnace of ambition, a storm of perceived slights and righteous fury. He values strength above all else. He believes power is the only tool that can truly change the world. He sees wisdom as a means to an end, and courage as a simple necessity for any warrior. He does not seek balance. He seeks dominion. And so, his path is set. He will manipulate the innocent. He will betray the trusting. He will use every tool at his disposal, from subtle political maneuvering to outright war, to gather the keys to the sacred realm. His goal is so righteous in his own mind that any action, no matter how cruel, is justified. The desert taught him that the strong survive and the weak perish. He intends to be the strongest of all. The air grows still and cool. You are standing on polished stone that feels ancient beneath your feet. You are inside the Temple of Time. Light streams down from a high, vaulted ceiling, illuminating motes of dust that have been undisturbed for centuries. The air smells of cold stone and something else, something clean and sacred, like the moments after a thunderstorm. There is a profound silence here. It is the silence of ages, a quiet so deep, you feel you could hear the world turning. Ahead of you is a dais, the pedestal of time. Upon it rests a sword, its blade glowing with a soft ethereal light. The Master Sword, the blade of evil's bane. And behind it, a door. A door not of wood or metal, but of shimmering light. The door of time. This is the place Ganondorf has sought for so long. He has manipulated a young boy, a child from the forest, into gathering the 3 spiritual stones. He has used the princess's prophetic dreams against her. He has patiently waited for the Ocarina of Time to play the Song of Time. And now, the way is open. He has followed the boy into this sacred space. Imagine his perspective as he steps through the now open door of time. He leaves the quiet temple behind and enters a place beyond all mortal comprehension. The sacred realm. It is not a place you can describe with simple words. It is an experience. You feel, rather than see, a landscape of pure golden light. The ground beneath your feet feels solid yet insubstantial, like walking on a cloud made of solidified sunshine. The air is not air, it is life. It hums with a gentle, harmonious energy. There is no wind, no weather, just a perfect, eternal stillness. Far in the distance, floating in the golden haze, is your destination. A shining pyramid, the Temple of Light, and within it, the Triforce. As Ganondorf walks towards it, what does he feel? Awe? Reverence? No. He feels validation. He sees this immense power, not as something to be worshipped, but as something to be claimed. It is his birthright, the tool he will use to impose his will upon the world. He has proven himself stronger, cleverer than the Hylians and their weak gods. This is his reward. He reaches the pedestal where the 3 golden triangles hover, spinning slowly, bathing the chamber in a light, so pure it feels warm on the skin. You can feel the power radiating from it. It is immense. The combined essence of the goddesses who created all things, the raw potential of creation itself. It is a power that should be terrifying. But to Ganondorf, it is beautiful. He reaches out his hand. His dark gauntlet, designed for war and conquest, moves towards this symbol of divine creation. The moment his fingers make contact is not a quiet one. There is a sound that is also a feeling, a deafening, silent explosion of energy that resonates through every fiber of your being. It is the feeling of a universe being born and dying in the same instant. But the Triforce judges him. It looks into his heart and finds it wanting. It finds immense, unyielding ambition. It finds a thirst for power that overshadows all else. But it does not find balance. It does not find the quiet contemplation of wisdom, nor the selfless bravery of courage. And so, it shatters. It breaks into its 3 component parts. The Triforce of Wisdom, sensing a kindred spirit of divine blood, flies to Princess Zelda. The Triforce of Courage, seeking a hero's spirit, finds the sleeping boy, Link. And Ganondorf, he is left with the piece that so perfectly reflects his soul, the Triforce of Power. A glowing triangle appears on the back of his hand. He feels a surge of energy unlike anything he has ever known. It is raw, untamed, magnificent. He feels invincible, godlike. But he is also enraged. He wanted the whole. He wanted absolute control. He has been denied. In his fury, he unleashes the power he now commands. And the sacred realm screams. The golden light curdles. It turns a sickly, poisonous green. The peaceful, humming air grows thick and heavy, filled with a palpable malice. The ground shifts and cracks, becoming a twisted wasteland of sharp rock and dark pits. The Temple of Light itself becomes a dark tower, a monument to his rage. He has not gained a paradise. He has corrupted it. He has turned the heart of Hyrule, its most sacred place, into his own personal domain, the evil realm. And from here, his influence begins to leak back into the world. He is sealed within this corrupted paradise by the quick thinking of the sages. But the seal is imperfect. His power is too great. For 7 long years, while the hero of time sleeps, Ganondorf's evil seeps into the land of Hyrule, poisoning it, twisting it, remaking it in his own dark image. He may be a prisoner in his new kingdom, but his reign has already begun. 7 years is a long time. It is long enough for hope to fade into a distant memory. It is long enough for fear to become the new normal. You find yourself standing in a place that is both familiar and horribly wrong. This was once the bustling market square of Hyrule Castle Town. The air was once filled with the sounds of commerce, of children's laughter, of bards singing in the square. Now there is only silence, a dead, heavy quiet, broken by a low, mournful groaning. The sky is a perpetual, bruised twilight, choked with dark clouds that swirl around a single point on the horizon, a grim, floating castle. The buildings of the market are shattered husks, and shambling through the ruins are things that were once people. Re-deads, their blank, screaming faces, are a testament to the despair that has consumed this place. This is Ganondorf's Hyrule, a kingdom conquered not by a swift war, but by a slow, creeping corruption that has seeped out from the evil realm. His will has been made manifest across the land. It is a reflection of his soul, ordered, brutal, and devoid of joy. Travel beyond the town. Visit the places that were once vibrant with life. Kokiri Forest, once filled with the laughter of eternal children, is now infested with monsters. The great Deku Tree, the forest's guardian, is long dead. The woods are dark and menacing, the paths twisted and unfamiliar. Zora's domain, once a sparkling aquatic paradise, is now frozen solid under a curse of red ice. The Zora, a graceful and gentle people, are trapped beneath the surface, their fate unknown. The water, once a source of life, has become their tomb. It is an act of calculated cruelty, a display of absolute power over the very elements. Death Mountain smolders with a new, malevolent energy. The Gorons, a strong and brotherly race of rock-eaters, have been captured, imprisoned, destined to be fed to a dragon that now nests in the heart of their home. Their mountain, a symbol of their strength and endurance, has been turned into their prison. This is the world Ganondorf has created. It is not chaos, it is a new kind of order. The order of the desert, the strong dominate, the weak are consumed. There is no room for sentiment, for art, for love. There is only power and the fear it inspires. He has remade the lush, soft land of Hyrule into a reflection of the harsh world that birthed him. And what of the king himself? Look to the horizon where Hyrule Castle once stood. A symbol of peace and prosperity, there now floats a nightmare. Ganon's castle. It is a fortress of black iron and jagged stone, suspended over a lake of fire. It seems to tear at the sky, a spike of pure malice driven into the heart of the world. Imagine you are inside it. The air is cold, stale, it smells of brimstone and old fear. There is a constant low sound that permeates everything, the sound of a colossal pipe organ. It is not playing a melody of celebration, but a dirge. A constant looping theme of dominion and despair. It is Ganondorf's anthem, and its notes seem to vibrate in the very stone of the castle. The castle is a monument to his ego, and a prison for the forces that could stop him. Within its walls, he has created 6 trials, each one a twisted mockery of the elements and temples of Hyrule. These trials guard the 6 sages, the wise ones whose power is needed to seal him away. He has trapped them in his own dark reflections of their sacred places. He has not just conquered Hyrule, he has systematically dismantled everything it once was. He has subverted its nature, captured its guardians, and desecrated its holy sites. It is a total, comprehensive victory. He sits on his throne at the pinnacle of his tower, the Triforce of Power burning on his hand, and he is the undisputed master of this broken world. And what has this power done to him? The Triforce, as we said, amplifies. It took his ambition and gave him a kingdom. It took his resentment and twisted a world. And it has taken his physical form and begun to change it. He is still recognizable as the Gerudo king, but there are subtle shifts. His features have become sharper, more cruel. His skin has taken on a greenish, unhealthy hue. The power he wields is immense, but it is also inhuman. And it is slowly eroding the man he once was, leaving only the Demon King in his place. He is alone at the top. His people, the Gerudo, are now his servants, his enforcers. But they are not his equals. There can be no equals in the kingdom of a man who embodies power itself. He has achieved everything he set out to do. He has brought Hyrule to its knees. He has the ultimate power, and yet the world he has created is empty, silent and dying. A kingdom of ash and shadow, a perfect reflection of the void in his own heart. The organ music has stopped. The oppressive silence has been replaced by the groan of tortured stone and the hiss of falling embers. The great tower is collapsing. The final battle has been fought. The hero has triumphed. The Demon King is defeated. But the story does not end here. You are there, amidst the ruins of the throne room. Ganondorf lies in the rubble, his body broken. The hero and the princess believe they have won. They have overcome the great evil, but they have underestimated the power he holds. They have defeated the man, but not the force that animates him. The Triforce of Power on his hand glows with a blinding intensity. It will not allow its vessel to perish. It is the embodiment of raw, untamed strength, the divine will to dominate and endure. It has no concept of good or evil, only of survival, and it will not be beaten. With a final, desperate surge of will, Ganondorf gives himself over to it completely. He lets go of the last vestiges of his humanity, of the Gerudo king he once was. He allows the raw power to consume and remake him. You witness a terrifying transformation. Not a clean flash of light, but a painful, grotesque metamorphosis. His body swells and contorts, his skin darkens and hardens, his intelligent, cruel face elongates into a monstrous, porcine snout. Tusks burst from his jaw. He rises from the rubble, no longer a man, but a beast. A creature of pure rage and power. Ganon. He is the Triforce of power made flesh, a mindless engine of destruction. This is the true curse of the power he sought. It did not just give him control over the world, it gave him control over himself, and he has now lost that control entirely. He has become the monster that the Hylians always feared was lurking in the desert. He has fulfilled a prophecy of his own making. Even in this monstrous form, he is defeated. Trapped within a ring of holy fire by the hero's blade. The 6 sages, now freed, combine their powers. They open a vortex, a shimmering gateway back to the corrupted sacred realm where his reign began. Light pours from their hands, enveloping the beast, binding him. As he is pulled into the void, something of the man returns. Just for a moment, a flicker of consciousness, of memory. And with his last breath in this world, he speaks. Not a roar of a beast, but the chilling, resonant voice of the Gerudo king. He issues a curse. He swears that as long as the Triforce of power resides in him, he will one day return. He curses the sages. He curses the princess. He curses the hero. He promises that one day he will rise again and exterminate their descendants. It is not an idle threat. It is a vow, sealed with the last of his will and the full might of a divine relic. He sets in motion a cycle, a timeless war between his incarnation of power and those who inherit the spirits of wisdom and courage. He has lost the battle, but in doing so, he has ensured the war will never, ever end. Then, he is gone. The vortex closes. Silence returns to Hyrule. Let us return to where we started. The desert. The sun is setting now, painting the endless dunes in shades of orange, purple, and deep red. The hot wind has softened into a cool, gentle breeze. The sky is filled with a spray of stars, brighter and clearer here than anywhere else in the world. It is peaceful. It is beautiful. The Gerudo fortress is quiet. Their king is gone, sealed away in another dimension. They are once again a people without a male ruler. Life will go on, as it always does in the desert. They will survive. They will endure. But the story of Ganondorf lingers in the air. It is a cautionary tale about ambition. A story of how the desire to lift your people up can become a reason to drag the whole world down. He was a product of this harsh, beautiful land. It gave him his strength, his resilience, and his deep, burning resentment. He saw a world out of balance and tried to correct it with force. The Triforce of power did not corrupt him. It merely allowed him to become what he already was, on a scale he could never have imagined, and now he is bound to it. And Hyrule is bound to him. The desert wind whispers through the canyons, and it sounds almost like a name. A promise. A curse. The cycle is set, and the sand, as always, waits. And so you feel a moment of quiet, a breath held in the dust-filled air. The tyrant is defeated. The castle lies in ruins. It feels like an ending, a story reaching its final full stop. But the ground beneath your feet does not agree. It begins to tremble, not with the collapse of stone, but with a new and terrible energy forcing its way up from the depths. From the heart of the wreckage, a sound echoes. It is not the groan of grinding rock. It is a roar, a sound of pure, untempered rage that has shed its human disguise. The stones shift and heave, pushed aside by a force that should not be. You watch as a shape begins to form in the gloom. It is huge, far larger than any man. It rises from the grave of Ganondorf's ambition, a dark testament to the power he so desperately craved. This is the Triforce of power made manifest. It has answered its master's final furious wish, not for victory, not for control, but simply for the strength to destroy. The form that stands before you now is not the Gerudo king. It is something else entirely. A beast of myth and malice. He is Ganon. Two enormous swords, like sharpened slabs of obsidian, are held in his clawed hands. His face is that of a monstrous boar, tusks curving from a powerful jaw. His eyes burn with an ancient, mindless hatred. All the cunning, the patience, the political scheming of Ganondorf has been boiled away, leaving only this raw, destructive core, a creature of pure, unthinking power. A wall of shimmering blue fire erupts around you, trapping the young hero with this monstrous incarnation of evil. The air grows thick with heat and the smell of ozone. The sky above, once clear, now swirls with angry purple clouds, as if the heavens themselves are recoiling from the sight below. This is not a duel of wits anymore. It is a primal struggle, a tiny spark of courage against an inferno of hate. You watch the dance unfold, the small, green-clad figure moving with a weary grace, the colossal beast striking with the force of an earthquake. Each blow of its massive swords misses by inches, carving great furrows into the broken earth. It is a battle not of strength, but of endurance. A test of a hero's spirit against a monster's fury. And then, a moment of weakness. The hero finds his mark. A final, desperate strike. The beast stumbles. It bellows a sound of frustration more than pain. It is a creature that cannot comprehend its own defeat. Power is all it knows. And for the first time, that power has failed it. It falls to one knee, the great swords clattering against the scorched ground. This is the moment, the chance. The princess, her wisdom a guiding light in the darkness, calls upon the aid of the sages. 6 points of light appear in the oppressive gloom. They are soft at first. Gentle glows of red and blue, green and orange. They gather in the air, weaving together to form a brilliant rainbow of sacred energy. This light descends not like a weapon, but like a shroud. It wraps around the monstrous form of Ganon, and the beast thrashes, roaring its defiance. But there is no fighting this. It is not an attack. It is an absolute, a fundamental law of the universe reasserting itself. The light of the sacred realm has come to claim its shadow. The creature is lifted from the ground, suspended in the radiant energy. Its form begins to waver, to lose its physical anchor to the world. As the light intensifies, you hear one last thought echo from the fading monster, a final promise. A curse spoken not with a voice, but with the last remnants of a will forged in desert sands. A vow that as long as the Triforce of Power resides in his heart, he will one day return. Then he is gone, pulled into a void between worlds, sealed away by the combined power of the sages and the wisdom of the princess. The circle of fire vanishes, the dark clouds part. A profound silence settles over the ruined landscape, broken only by the gentle sigh of the wind. The curse is contained. For now, the Desert King is gone, but his shadow, you know, will one day grow long once more. Let the day fall away. Let the noise of the world recede like a distant tide. Find a comfortable position and allow your body to grow heavy. Your thoughts can drift now. There is nothing for you to do, nowhere for you to be, except here. In this quiet space we are about to create together. Imagine you are not a hero. You are not on a quest. You are simply a spirit of awareness floating on the gentle currents of time. You are a silent observer, watching a story that has already been told. A legend that echoes through the valleys and mountains of a kingdom called Hyrule. Tonight we are not following the boy in green or the princess of destiny. We are visiting the quiet places, the sacred spaces where the soul of the land itself resides. These are the temples, the ancient locks on a door that leads to the heart of everything. Each one is a world unto itself, a pocket of concentrated essence. Forest, fire, water, shadow, spirit. They are not mere dungeons filled with puzzles. They are meditations, They are the physical embodiment of the virtues needed to protect the land. And within each one sleeps a sage, a guardian whose spirit is forever bound to the place they protect. Our journey is a gentle one. We will drift through these spaces not as a warrior, but as a dreamer. We will feel the air on our skin. We will listen to the echoes in the stone. We will understand the silence between the notes of a song. So let your breathing slow, and let us begin our pilgrimage. Let us drift towards the first echo, towards a place of perpetual childhood and deep memory. The first place we find ourselves is deep within a forest, the Kokiri forest. But we drift past the cheerful homes carved into old wood. We bypass the lively chatter of the forest children. We are drawn deeper into the maze of trees known as the Lost Woods. The air here is different. It is cool and smells of damp earth-rich soil and 1,000 years of fallen leaves. A fine green mist hangs in the air, clinging to the bark of ancient trees whose branches twist together to form a dense canopy overhead. Light struggles to pierce the gloom. When it does, it comes in soft, dappled shafts that dance on the forest floor like curious spirits. You feel a sense of gentle confusion here, a feeling of being turned around. Every path looks the same. The sound of a distant flute drifts on the breeze, a simple, haunting melody that seems to pull you forward and send you back all at once. It is the sound of friendship, the sound of a promise made long ago. You feel no fear. This is not a place of malice. It is a place of memory, a place that resists the linear march of time. Here a child can remain a child forever, and a memory can stay as fresh as the day it was made. Following the sound of the melody, we drift towards a clearing. Before us stands a structure that seems both built by hands and grown by nature. This is the forest temple. It does not loom or threaten. It simply is. It feels like an old manor house abandoned centuries ago and reclaimed by the woods. Ivy crawls up its stone walls thick as a man's arm. Moss grows in a lush green carpet over every surface. Trees older than any kingdom have pushed their way through the foundations, their roots breaking through flagstones and their branches reaching through empty window frames. You drift through the entrance. The air inside is still and carries the scent of moss and standing water. It is quiet. A profound hush hangs over the place, broken only by the distant hoot of an owl or the scuttling of some unseen creature. The main hall is a grand affair. A central tree, a giant of its kind, grows right in the middle, its highest branches lost in the shadows of the vaulted ceiling. The architecture is strange. Corridors twist back on themselves in impossible ways. Staircases seem to lead nowhere. It feels like a dream, a place where logic has been gently set aside in favor of something older, something more intuitive. You drift down a long hallway. The walls are lined with green-tinged portraits, their subjects' eyes seeming to follow you. They are not threatening. They are just watching. Echoes of a time when this place was full of life. Now it is home only to spirits. Faint, translucent figures flicker at the edge of your vision. Pose. They are spirits of regret, beings trapped by a powerful emotion. They float through the walls, their lanterns casting a faint purple light that does little to push back the shadows. You feel a deep sense of melancholy in these halls. Not sadness, but a quiet longing for what has been lost. This temple is a monument to the past. It is about the memories we cling to and the ghosts they can become. It is about the pain of growing up and leaving a part of yourself behind. As you explore, you can almost feel the presence of the boy who walked these halls. You can feel his confusion, his determination, and his sorrow at what he had to do. At the heart of the temple, in its deepest chamber, we feel her presence. Saria, the sage of forest. You do not see her as a physical form. You feel her spirit woven into the very fabric of this place. She is the melody of the lost woods. She is the resilience of the ivy on the walls. She is the eternal green of the forest. Her essence is one of steadfast friendship, a love that transcends time and distance. To become a sage, she had to let go of her childhood, her home, and her friend. But her spirit remains forever in the place she loved, a guardian of memory, a keeper of the green. Her sacrifice was not one of violence, but of acceptance. The acceptance that to protect something you must sometimes leave it behind. That true friendship is not about physical presence, but about a connection that time cannot break. The forest temple is her meditation, a quiet reflection on the bittersweet nature of growing up. It teaches that the past is always with us, a part of who we are. It is a place to honor memories without becoming a prisoner to them. As you drift back out of the temple entrance, the air of the Lost Woods feels less confusing now. It feels peaceful. The melody on the wind is not a lament, it is a lullaby, a promise that nothing is ever truly lost if it is remembered with love. You leave the green world behind, carrying with you the scent of moss and the feeling of quiet reflection. The first sage has been awakened, and her spirit settles a gentle peace over the ancient woods. Now we leave the cool, damp embrace of the forest. Our awareness travels upwards. We are drawn towards the fiery heart of a great mountain. Death Mountain. From a distance, it is a jagged silhouette against the sky, a plume of smoke perpetually rising from its peak. As we draw closer, you begin to feel the heat. Not a pleasant warmth, but a dry, oppressive heat that shimmers in the air. The ground beneath you changes from soft earth to sharp volcanic rock, dark and unforgiving. The air smells of sulfur and hot stone. The only sounds are the hiss of steam from fissures in the rock and a deep, low rumble from within the mountain's core. It is the sound of the world's heart beating, a slow, powerful rhythm that makes the very air vibrate. This is a place of raw power, a place of creation and destruction. We drift into the crater at the mountain's summit. The heat intensifies. It feels like standing before the open door of a vast furnace. The air is so hot, it is difficult to breathe. Below us is a lake of molten rock, glowing with an angry orange light. Set into the far wall of the crater is the entrance to the fire temple. It is not grand or ornate. It is a grim, functional opening carved from the mountain itself. Heavy chains hang on either side, remnants of some great mechanism. This is not a place of quiet reflection. It is a place of industry, of hardship, and of unbreakable bonds. It is a prison. You pass through the entrance. The heat inside is immense. You can feel it pressing in from all sides. The temple is a labyrinth of metal grates, narrow stone bridges and rivers of lava. The air is thick with the clang of metal on metal, a rhythmic hammering that echoes from deep within. This is the home of the Gorons, a race of proud rock-eating people, and they are in peril. As you drift through the corridors, you see them. Locked in cells, their powerful forms slumped in defeat. Their spirits are low, their hope almost extinguished. This temple is a testament to endurance. It is about facing overwhelming odds. It is about the chains we carry, both literal and metaphorical. The architecture is brutal and utilitarian. There is no moss here, no gentle light, only the stark contrast of black rock and searing orange lava. The air tastes of metal and ash. You navigate over precarious platforms, feeling the intense heat radiating from the molten rock below. The path is confusing, a maze designed to break the spirit of any who would enter. But there is a spirit here that cannot be broken. You feel his presence, a force of pure, stubborn will. Darunia, the patriarch of the Gorons, the big brother, his essence is not subtle or gentle. It is a roaring fire of loyalty and defiance. You feel his frustration, his anger at the injustice done to his people. But underneath the anger, you feel a deep, unwavering love for his sworn brothers. He would face any danger, walk into any fire to protect them. To awaken as the Sage of Fire, Darunia must confront an ancient evil that has been resurrected within the temple, a dragon of immense power named Volvagia. This battle is not just about freeing his people, it is about conquering his own fear. It is about proving that the bonds of brotherhood are stronger than any chain, stronger even than the fire of a dragon. His spirit is the hammer that breaks the locks, the unwavering courage that inspires hope in the hearts of the hopeless. In the deepest chamber, the very heart of the volcano, you can feel the climax of his struggle. The oppressive heat is at its peak. The roar of the dragon echoes in the stone, a sound of ancient fury. But Darunia's spirit is a brighter fire. It is the fire of community, the fire of shared struggle, the fire of a promise kept. When he awakens as a sage, it is not a quiet, peaceful moment. It is a great shout of defiance, a declaration that the Gorons will never be broken. The Fire Temple is a meditation on strength, not just physical strength, but the strength of character, the strength to stand up for others when they cannot stand for themselves. It teaches that true leadership is not about power or authority. It is about responsibility. It is about carrying the burdens of your people and never giving up even when the heat is unbearable. It is the honor of a sworn brother. As we drift away from the mountain's peak, you can feel a change in the atmosphere. The oppressive heat lessens. The angry rumble of the volcano softens to a gentle hum. The spirit of the Sage of Fire has calmed the mountain's heart. The Gorons are free, and the sound of their joyful cheers echoes up from the depths. We leave this place of fire and iron carrying with us the feeling of warmth. Not the searing heat of lava, but the comforting warmth of a shared fire among friends. The second sage has been awakened, and his spirit brings strength and resilience to the heart of the mountain. From the heat of the volcano, our journey now takes us to a place of absolute contrast, a place of cool stillness and deep silence. We drift over the wide expanse of Hyrule Field towards the largest body of water in the kingdom, Lake Hylia. The sun is high in the sky, and it glitters on the surface of the water like a carpet of diamonds. The air is fresh and clean, carrying the scent of water and wet stone. The sound is of gentle waves lapping against a sandy shore, and the cry of gulls circling high overhead. This is a place of beauty and tranquility, but its secrets lie beneath the surface. We do not linger on the shore. Our awareness sinks below the waves. The world changes instantly. The sounds of the surface world fade away, replaced by a deep, muffled silence. The light of the sun filters down from above, transformed into shifting blue and green patterns that dance in the water. You feel a gentle pressure all around you, a calm, heavy embrace. It is like floating in a dream. You are weightless. Movement is slow and graceful. Schools of small silver fish dart past you their scales, catching the filtered light. Deeper down we go, towards a structure resting on the lake bed, the water temple. It is a place of serene beauty. The architecture is elegant with graceful arches and smooth, polished marble. It gleams in the underwater light. Fountains of air bubbles rise from intricate carvings, creating gentle currents in the still water. You drift inside. The silence is even more profound here. The only sound is the soft rhythmic pulse of your own awareness and the occasional distant gurgle of water moving through ancient pipes. The temple is a vertical maze, a complex series of chambers and corridors stacked on top of one another. The key to navigating this place is not a map or a compass, it is the water itself. The very level of the water can be raised and lowered, changing the layout of the temple, revealing new paths and sealing off old ones. This temple is a meditation on change and adaptation. It is about the flow of life. It requires patience and a willingness to see things from different perspectives. Rushing here leads to confusion and frustration. You must move with the current, not against it. The feeling is one of being pleasantly lost. Each room is a beautiful puzzle box filled with shifting light and the gentle sway of aquatic plants. It can be disorienting. Corridors that were once flooded are now dry passages. Doors that were once accessible are now deep underwater. At times you might feel a sense of being trapped, but the temple is not malicious. It is simply testing you. It asks you to let go of your rigid expectations and to embrace the ebb and flow. It teaches that sometimes the way forward is to go back and change the very foundation of your environment. It is a lesson in fluidity, both of mind and of spirit. And here in this beautiful, confusing place, we feel the spirit of its sage, Princess Ruto of the Zoras. When we first feel her essence, it is one of youthful impatience and entitlement. The memory of a spoiled princess demanding to be rescued. But as we travel deeper into the temple, we feel her spirit change. It matures, it deepens. Her love for her people, her devotion to her home transforms her. She is no longer just a princess. She is a guardian. To awaken as the Sage of Water Ruto must accept her destiny. She must put the needs of her people and the whole of Hyrule above her own desires. She must let go of her childhood crush on the hero and embrace a much larger, more profound responsibility. Her spirit becomes like the temple itself, calm on the surface, but with a deep and powerful current running beneath. She is the steady pressure of the deep water, the clear light that reveals the path forward. Her awakening is a quiet one, a moment of profound understanding in the heart of the silent temple. It is the acceptance of duty, the realization that true love is not about possession, but about protection. She becomes the very soul of Lake Hylia, ensuring its waters will always run pure and clear. The water temple is her meditation on maturity. It teaches that we must all adapt to the changing currents of our lives, that true wisdom lies not in resisting change, but in learning to navigate it with grace and purpose. As our awareness rises back to the surface of the lake, the world of sound and bright light returns. The water of Lake Hylia seems to sparkle with a newfound clarity. The gentle lapping of the waves sounds like a soft, contented sigh. We leave the cool embrace of the water carrying with us a sense of calm and clarity, a feeling of having passed through a great filter leaving behind all confusion and frustration. The third sage has been awakened, and her spirit brings peace and purity to the waters of the kingdom. From the light and clarity of the water, we travel to a place of encroaching dusk. We find ourselves in a quiet village nestled at the foot of the great mountain, Kokiri village. It is peaceful here, but our journey takes us to the edge of the village, to the quiet graveyard that rests on a small hill. The sun is setting and the world is bathed in the long shadows and soft orange light of twilight. It is not a frightening place. It is a place of rest and remembrance. Old headstones lean at odd angles, their inscriptions worn smooth by centuries of wind and rain. A gentle breeze rustles the leaves of a large, gnarled tree that stands in the center of the yard. We are drawn to the largest tomb, the one belonging to the royal family of Hyrule. And through it, we pass into the earth itself. We go down, into the darkness, into the silence. We arrive in a vast underground cavern. The air is cold and still. It smells of dust and dry bone and something else. Something that feels like forgotten time. This is the antechamber to the Shadow Temple, and it is a place filled with uncomfortable truths about Hyrule's past. A history of strife and betrayal that has been deliberately buried and forgotten by the Kingdom of Light. This is not a place of evil. It is a place of secrets. You drift forward through a great stone wall that is not a wall at all, an illusion. And now you are in the temple proper. The darkness here is absolute. It is not just the absence of light. It is a physical presence, a heavy, silent blanket that muffles sound and swallows all detail. There is no grand architecture to admire here, just rough-hewn tunnels, invisible pits, and cruel machinery designed not just to stop intruders, but to torment them. The sounds are sparse and chilling, the distant rattle of chains, the low moan of the wind through unseen cracks in the stone, the faint disembodied chanting of ghosts. This temple must be navigated with more than your eyes. It demands that you trust your other senses. It demands that you see what is not there. The key to this place is the lens of truth, an artifact that reveals the invisible. With it, false walls disappear and hidden paths are revealed. The temple is a meditation on truth. It teaches that the most frightening things are not the monsters that lurk in the dark, but the lies we tell ourselves, the truths we refuse to see. The journey through the Shadow Temple is a journey into the collective subconscious of Hyrule, a confrontation with the kingdom's darker nature. It is a place of psychological trials, not physical ones. You feel the weight of all the sorrow and injustice that has been buried here. It is a heavy feeling, but a necessary one. To achieve true peace, one must first acknowledge the darkness within. And here, in the suffocating darkness, we feel the spirit of the Sage of Shadow Impa, the last of the Sheikah, Zelda's loyal guardian. Her essence is quiet but incredibly strong. It is the stillness of a predator waiting in the dark. It is the absolute loyalty of a bodyguard. It is the deep wisdom of someone who has seen the ugly truth of the world and has not flinched. She has spent her entire life in the shadows protecting the royal family, serving a kingdom that shunned her people. Her dedication is absolute. Her spirit is forged from duty and sacrifice. Impa's role as a sage is not a glorious one. It is a lonely burden. She is the keeper of the unpleasant truths, the guardian of the history that everyone else wants to forget. To awaken as a sage, she must ensure that the great evil sealed within this temple is contained forever. Her spirit becomes the lock on that final door, a silent, eternal vigil in the dark. She is the shadow that allows the light to shine brighter. The Shadow Temple is her meditation on acceptance. It teaches that light cannot exist without shadow, that a person or a kingdom cannot be whole until it acknowledges and accepts all parts of itself, the good and the bad. It is not about defeating the darkness, but about understanding its place in the balance of things. It is about having the courage to look into the abyss without fear. As we drift back out of the earth and into the twilight of the graveyard, the air feels fresh and clean. The darkness of the temple was not an evil, it was just an absence, a space waiting to be understood. The setting sun no longer seems melancholic, it feels peaceful, a natural part of a cycle. We leave this place of secrets carrying with us not fear, but a quiet understanding, a sense of wholeness. The fourth sage has been awakened, and her spirit brings the wisdom of balance to the hidden corners of the kingdom. Our journey now takes us far from the green lands of central Hyrule. We travel west across a vast and unforgiving landscape, the haunted wasteland, a desert. For what feels like an age, there is nothing but sand, an endless ocean of rolling dunes under a vast empty sky. The sun is relentless, the heat is a physical weight, the air shimmers distorting the horizon. The only sound is the whisper of the wind as it sculpts the sand into ever-changing patterns. This is a journey of endurance, a test of the will. It is a place that strips away everything that is unnecessary, leaving only your own quiet determination. There are no landmarks here, no clear path. You are guided only by a faint spectral presence, a ghost who points the way. You must trust in something beyond your own senses. You must have faith. After a long journey across the sands, we arrive at our destination. A colossal statue carved into the side of a mesa, a giant goddess of the desert, her serene face staring out over the wasteland she protects. This is the entrance to the Spirit Temple, a place sacred to the Gerudo, the proud race of desert-dwelling warriors. It feels ancient, older than Hyrule itself. The air is dry and smells of sun-baked stone and exotic incense. You pass into the temple. The interior is vast and filled with a soft golden light. The air is still and warm. Unlike the other temples, this one feels dual. It has two distinct sides, two separate paths that must be walked. One path can only be traveled by a child, the other only by an adult. It is a place that straddles the river of time, a bridge between past and future. The Spirit Temple is a meditation on balance and destiny. It is about the relationship between innocence and experience. The child's path is one of cleverness and intuition. The adult's path is one of strength and wisdom. Neither is complete without the other. To solve the temple's riddles, you must use the knowledge gained in one timeline to overcome obstacles in the other. It requires you to think not as a single person, but as two halves of a whole. The boy you were, and the man you will become. The symbolism is powerful. The great colossus outside has two hands. One palm faces up to receive the light of the sun. The other faces down to draw power from the moon. It is the balance of masculine and feminine, of light and dark, of past and present. The temple's puzzles are all based on this theme of duality, using mirrors to reflect light, using time itself as a tool. It is the most philosophical of the temples, a place that asks you to contemplate your own journey through life. And here, in this place of temporal balance, we feel the spirit of the final elemental sage, Nabooru, the second in command of the Gerudo. Her essence is fiery and independent, a spirit of proud rebellion. She is fiercely loyal to her people, but she refuses to bow to the evil king who has risen from their ranks. She possesses a powerful sense of justice and an unbreakable will. She walks her own path regardless of the consequences. Her journey to becoming a sage is one of defiance. She actively works against the king of evil, trying to thwart his plans from within. She is captured and brainwashed, forced to serve the very evil she despises. But her spirit, her true self, cannot be extinguished. Awakening as a sage is her final act of liberation. It is the moment she breaks free from her chains, not with anger, but with a profound sense of purpose. She is the spirit of the desert, beautiful and harsh, free and untamable. The Spirit Temple is her meditation on selfhood. It teaches that we are all a product of our past and our future, that our innocence and our experience are both valuable parts of who we are. It is about finding the balance within yourself. Nibiru's spirit becomes the guardian of that balance, a reminder that even in the harshest of lands, a strong will and a clear sense of justice can bloom. As we leave the golden light of the temple and return to the vast desert, the sun is setting. The sky is a breathtaking canvas of orange, purple, and red. The harshness of the desert has softened into a serene beauty. The endless sand seems not empty, but full of potential, full of peace. We leave this place of duality carrying with us a feeling of integration, of being a complete whole. The fifth sage has been awakened, and her fiery spirit brings justice and balance to the great desert. We have traveled to the far corners of the land. We have felt the cool of the forest, the heat of the mountain, the calm of the water, the stillness of the shadow, and the balance of the spirit. The five sages are awake. Their power combines calling out across time and space. And now our journey takes us to a place that is not a place at all. It is the destination that all the other temples were protecting. We are drawn to the heart of Hyrule, to the Temple of Time. This structure is both humble and majestic. From the outside, it is a grand cathedral, a testament to the faith of the Hylian people. Inside it is serene and quiet. Light streams through stained glass windows depicting the sages of old. At the far end of the chamber, on a raised pedestal, rests the Master Sword, the blade of evil's bane. And behind it, the door of time. This is the gateway, the final lock. With the power of the awakened sages, a bridge of light forms, a rainbow path that leads into a void. We drift across this bridge. We are leaving the physical world behind. We are entering the sacred realm, the realm of the gods, the resting place of the Triforce. There are no walls here, no floor, no ceiling. You are floating in a sea of pure golden light. It is warm and comforting. You feel utterly safe, utterly at peace. In the distance, you can hear a faint celestial choir, a sound of perfect harmony that seems to vibrate in your very essence. This is the source of all things, the nexus of creation, the place where the three golden goddesses left their power when they departed the world. This is not a meditation on a single concept. This is the meditation itself. It is the culmination of all the virtues we have witnessed. The memory of the forest, the strength of the mountain, the adaptability of the water, the acceptance of the shadow, the balance of the spirit. All are woven together here in a perfect tapestry of light and sound. And here we feel the presence of the final two sages, the anchors of this entire story. The first is Rauru, the ancient sage of light. He has been here for centuries, a silent guardian watching over the sleeping Triforce. His spirit is one of immense wisdom and patience. He is the light that guides the hero, the calm voice of reason in a world plunged into chaos. He is the very foundation upon which the other sages build their power. The seventh and final sage is Princess Zelda, the leader of them all. Her spirit shines brighter than any other. It is a light of hope, wisdom, and profound sacrifice. She has spent years in hiding, guiding the hero from the shadows. She has carried the weight of her kingdom's destiny on her shoulders. Her awakening as a sage is the final piece of the puzzle, the keystone that locks everything into place. Her virtue is wisdom, the wisdom to see the larger picture, the wisdom to make the hard choices, the wisdom to have faith in others. Together, the seven sages create a seal, a bond of pure spiritual energy to contain the great evil that has corrupted this sacred place. It is a symphony of power, each sage a different instrument playing its part in a single beautiful chord of light. They are the pillars that hold up the world, the guardians who ensure that even in the darkest of times there is always a path back to the light. The sacred realm teaches the final lesson, that no one person can save the world alone. It requires a community of spirits, a combination of different strengths and virtues all working together in harmony. It is the ultimate expression of balance, the perfect union of power, wisdom, and courage. Our journey is over, the seal is in place, the evil is contained, the echoes of the legend begin to fade. We drift slowly back across the rainbow bridge, back through the door of time, back into the peaceful quiet of the Temple of Time. The light of the sacred realm recedes, leaving a feeling of deep, profound peace in its wake. Hyrule is safe, the cycle is complete, the land can begin to heal. You can feel the collective sigh of relief from all corners of the kingdom. The mountain sleeps peacefully, the waters run clear, the forest is calm, the shadows are at rest, and the desert is beautiful in its solitude. And so our time in this legendary world comes to a close. You can let the images of temples and sages drift away now, like motes of dust in a sunbeam. All that remains is the feeling, the peace, the quiet strength, the gentle wisdom. Let that feeling stay with you as you continue your own journey. Your journey into deep and restful sleep. The legend has been told, the land is at peace, and all is well. Good night.